came down and painted highways on his raincoat. Came down and painted circles in the mud. He slowly made his way across the moonless night, and he tried to not get lost in the flood. And it gets dark out here in Lonesome Valley, praying there's a light on at home. But the words have found a way to cut a path across your lips, are as heavy as your name upon a stone. And it's a hard thing to swallow, and it's a hard thing to take in. After losing everything else, you may never want me, you may never want me again. So I dream that I'm some rugged Western hero, and I dream of painting murals above my bed. But the thrill I used to feel when the trains cried out at night feels like a nightmare that keeps rolling through my head. And it's a hard thing to swallow, and it's a hard thing to take in. After losing everything else, you may never want me, you may never want me again. And I've lost myself out in the desert. I've run naked and free in the sun. And I've sailed out on the sand. It's stretched out past my soul into a darkness only meant for one. And it's a hard thing to swallow, and it's a hard thing to take in. After losing everything else, you may never want me, you may never want me again. And it's a hard thing to swallow, Lord, it's a hard, hard thing to take in. After losing everything else, you may never want me, you may never want me again. Good choice. Thank you.
All right. Well, this next song I'm going to play is a song I wrote when I was 21 years old. I knew everything there was to know about love, and now I know even less. This is my mama's favorite song. If she was in the audience, she would be very happy that I was playing this song, but she's not, so she can't be happy because she's not here hearing the song. But she always asks me to play this song no matter where I am. And I'm like, Mama, I've got several hundred songs I've written since I was 21. And she said, well, I don't care. I like that one. Okay, Mama. We're going to do Shivering. So I was in a band back in the 90s in Austin called the Sharecroppers, or Good Medicine Band was another name for it. That was a terrible name, but Sharecroppers was a cool name. Well, what happened was we kind of got too big for our britches, and we went off to New York City and played for some record label executives and got our name up above the radar. And the next thing you know, the other 5 or 6 sharecroppers in the United States started sending us letters about ceasing and desisting using that name. So right at the peak and the pinnacle of our accomplishments, we had to abandon our name. And we were talking about all these names. One of my suggestions was Old Pappy's Bottomless PJs. But the rest of the band didn't like that idea too well. And I remember we were going and playing a gig down in Houston, and I was like, what about the Lost Pines? And somebody in the band is like, that's a terrible name. And it was one of those deals where if anybody in the band objected, then the name could not happen. And I don't know why nobody in the band objected to Good Medicine Band.
Well, at least you didn't end up with Sister Satan.
Yeah, well, Wayne has a similar story. You have a similar story, don't you?
Same story, yeah.
He has the same story with little sister and sister.
Worst name. It's even
Yeah.
got the worst name.
Yeah. So anyway, has nothing to do with the song I'm about to play for y'all, except for it was during that time in that band, and it's my mama's favorite song. So if I expect her to keep cooking delicious meals for me when I come down and do these runs of shows with Wayne, then I better play this song for her.
Yes, because they are delicious.
It's called Shivering. Don't do me wrong, just hold me gently, 'cause I'm too young to feel this soul. And when you come, you might knock real softly, 'cause this old door been slammed too much, and you can't hold me down when I'm shivering, 'cause my ducks ain't in a row, and this change of hands just won't meet my demand. You just can't go. You just can't go like this. My lies were white till I got them dirty. I thought I might undress, but they stained my skin. And when you come, don't mind me laughing, 'cause I'll be so glad to see you and love someone again. And you can't hold me down when I'm shivering, 'cause my ducks ain't in a row. And this change in hands just won't meet my demand. You just can't go. You just can't go like this. Take it, Wayne. just changing hands. Just won't meet my demand. You just can't go. You just can't go like this. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Let's do Whiplash. Great choice.
It made me weepy last night, so I don't feel like playing it. Not this one. This just makes me sober. Gotta watch out for the ones that make you sober. Winter slide, teenage ride, an ambush hide, stop deciding, and it seems like they're coming from all sides. Hips are shaking, bones are breaking, gamblers faking, no mistake, and getting darker as I follow the blind. The ice is cracking, dogs are tracking, counter stacking, keep attacking, and it seems like they're coming from all sides. Tears are frozen, lips are swollen, grim devotion set in motion, and the judge says all objections are denied. And the man of many faces always leaves traces in every place he's been. And I should have started running, but I never saw it coming. Now I'm fighting my way out of here again. Religion stalling, old man brawling, city sprawling, children calling. It's the mothers who start to disappear. Clutches slipping, clowns are tripping, flag is ripping, scales are tipping, and it's sold out by the auctioneer. Brides are showing, horns are blowing, secrets flowing, game on going, and the body sitting here is gonna fall. Captain's staring, boy is swearing, queens are pairing, all declaring that these walls ain't ever gonna hold. And the man of many faces always leaves traces in every place he's been. And I should have started running, but I never saw it coming. Now I'm fighting my way out of here again. Ghosts are crying, beggars bride, horses fly, dreams are dying, and there's laughter in the corner of the room. Bulls are crashing, whips are lashing, doors are smashing, diamonds flashing as they try to fight their way inside the womb. Falling ceiling, open stealing, suckers kneeling, all believing, and crying at the altar of the fool. Windows locked and whispers mock, nothing shocking, always locking as they head into the valley of the mule. And the man of many faces always leaves traces in every place he's been. And I should have started running, but I never saw it coming. Now I'm fighting my way out of here again. Thanks.
So I want to try to play a special song right now that I wouldn't probably normally play. And I think Wayne is an awesome enough musician that he will be able to keep up with this song. But there's this guy who became a hero of mine out in West Texas. where I live part of the time in Terlingua. And he was a songwriter and a legend. And his name was Gil Prather. And his son and daughter-in-law came out to see us play tonight. They're sitting right here. Gil passed away back at the beginning of February, and Gil and I had made each other's acquaintance in person last summer out in Terlingua. We had known each other. We talked to each other on the phone a couple times, actually, because Gil was talking, because I'm a recording engineer, and Gil was talking to me about recording an album for him, his last album, as he said, which we never got to do. But we talk on the phone, and we were friends on Facebook. And so I was hanging out with a buddy of mine, who a lot of people here probably know, a guy named Mark Utter. We were hanging out in the ghost town in Terlingua and, drinking a couple beers or something. And Mark said, Gil is down at the High Sierra, and would you like to go down there and meet him? And I said, well, yeah, of course I'd love to. So we hopped in my old pickup and we drove down there and walked up, and there was Gil sitting there. And I walked up and I said, Gil, I'm Bill Palmer. He looked at me and he said, Bill Palmer? God damn, boy, come sit down next to me. And so I came and I sat down. He said, son, it's good to meet you. He said, I'm a big fan of your poetry, and I share poetry on social media every day. It's one of my little meditations as I do this thing. And he told me, he said, I read your poetry every day. I love your poetry. And I was like, Gil, that's about the best compliment I think I ever got, because, obviously I'm a fan of your poetry too. And I said, but I have to tell you, I can't seem to write about anything but love. And he said, well, what in the hell else is there to write about, son? So I'm going to try to butcher one of Gil's songs here for you guys. I'll do my best. The man from the Rio Grande. You can play kind of some Mexican stuff. It makes sense. I know it's hard to understand how the rolling, muddy Rio Grande owns my soul and won't ever let it go. I'm nothing more than what I am, a cowboy born of the Rio Grande. From dust to dust, I'm river sand. Many times with heart and soul, I begged you to go to my home where the weeping willow grows on the banks of Mexico. Goodbye is hard to say. I knew there'd come a day when you'd lose me to that rolling Rio Grande, to the Rio Grande sand. I know it's hard to understand how the rolling, muddy Rio Grande owns my soul and won't ever let it go. I'm nothing more than what I am, a cowboy born of the Rio Grande. From dust to dust, I am river sand. Take one, Wayne. Sometime if you change your mind, my footprints you will find. The land where the willow sings my song. I've been gone so long. My hat is pulled down low. I'm riding hard for Mexico. To the Lodi Rio Grande I'll make my stand. In the Rio Grande sand. I know it's hard to understand how the rolling, muddy Rio Grande owns my soul and won't ever let it go. I'm nothing more than what I am, a cowboy bard of the Rio Grande. From dust to dust I am a river sand. From dust to dust I'm the Rio Grande sand. For your dad.
Are we gonna take a break? We don't have to.
It's up to you.
Are we going?
If you know, as long as my beer holds out, I'm good to keep going.
Let's keep
it's
going.
up to you.
I don't need.
Can we just keep going, or do we need to take a break?
All right, let's go back to the. Well, I don't know.
What you got?
Nothing as good as that. Let's try. Let's try What on Earth. We'll get it.
Which one?
What on Earth? We'll go back
Let's do it.
to the list. All right, that's a little pandemic love song I wrote for my wife when I realized we were going to be
Thank you.
stuck together 24 hours a day for.
Thank you.
We didn't know how long. Really long time. We're still married, which is a Christmas miracle in itself. I guess. What on earth am I gonna do with you? We could dance across the kitchen if you wanted to. We could just make love all night like we used to do. What on earth am I gonna do with you? We could play chess, I could teach you again. Or we could play cards, except you never let me win. I could read you a book that took you out of time. We could turn out the lights and plan the perfect crime. What on earth am I gonna do with you? I would pull down the moon if you wanted me to. We could kiss away the hours like we used to do. What on earth am I gonna do with you? We could pull out a canvas and paint something on the porch. We could take off all our clothes, lay naked on the floor. Take that dog into the woods and let that boy run free. We could wrap up in a blanket and curse the referee. What on earth am I gonna do with you? You could sing me a song if you wanted to. We could talk until the sun comes up like we used to do. What on earth am I gonna do with you? We could talk about the things we've done and the places that we've been. Look into each other's eyes and see the soul that lies within. And I could try and make you laugh by acting like a fool. You could pretend to be a wild girl from Baptist school. What on earth am I gonna do with you? We could dance across the kitchen if you wanted to. We could just make love all night like we used to do. What on earth am I gonna do with you? What on earth am I gonna do with you? What on earth am I gonna do?
Lord have mercy.
Woo. No breaks.
Wayne and I have to work a little harder up here, it looks like. Thanks, whoever. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you. Cheers. So I used to play at this place called the Cowgirl Hall of Fame in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And there was this guy who would come out to all the shows. Anytime I was playing, he would be there. And he loved to just buy me shots of Grand Marnier and set them down. And I mean, I'd be playing at the end of the first set. There'd be 6 or 8 shots of Grand Marnier sitting there. And he'd bring another one and set it down. I was like, hey, man, I haven't even tasted. And I'll be honest with you, I can't stand drinking Grand Marnier. But it's all right in a margarita or whatever. But, you know, I was like, at least bring something that I enjoy, you know. But he was dead set that I needed to enjoy Grand Marnier, and he would keep bringing it. And there'd be several of them, you know. And of course, at the end of the show, I'd be like, anybody want some Grand Marnier? There's plenty of it up here. Grand Marnier shots, $5 each. I'm going to play y'all a song now. Let's do Comanchero.
Okay.
So, many years ago, I was living out in Terlingua before I moved out there. And my son, who's now 22, was not yet 1. And he was crawling around, but it was pre-cell phone era. And me and his mom, we'd moved out there. I guess we had sort of decided that we were going to make it as musicians. So we moved to the most remote place on earth to do that. And it seemed like a good idea at the time. And as Wayne pointed out recently, I'm still actually doing that same thing. But I do have a few more tricks up my sleeve now than I did back then. But at night, when his mom would put him down, I'd be just sort of left, you know, what am I going to do with the rest of the night? So one of the things I could do is maybe buy a 18-pack of Lone Star beer and sit in my van and listen to Mexican AM radio. That was one of the ways that I passed the time. And then after a little while, I realized that was a dead-end sort of adventure. And so I started writing songs, and I wrote a bunch of songs. And this next one I'm going to play for y'all is one that I wrote during that time about the Comancheros. And I don't know if you guys know what the Comancheros are, but back in the old days, the Comanches, you know, when they would do business with the Europeans or whatever, they didn't want to see their faces, like it was a curse. So they had these kind of middlemen called the Comancheros who would do the trading between them, and they were usually bandits themselves and pretty unsavory characters. And so I wrote a song about the Comancheros. Oh, Comanchero, flight as a feather, but heavy like iron, shaped by the fire, blood on your hands. Puede var conmigo a donde cantamos para los muertos en este mundo difícil llevar. Oh, Comanchero, tougher than leather, but easily led, better off dead, and nowhere to go. Nobody loves you, not many knew you. You're burned by the sun, learned by the gun, blood on your hands. Oh, Comanchero, your time is over. You live for the day, but there's hell to pay at the end of the road. All right. All right.
Yes, I feel like dancing.
Let's do it.
I do.
Great.
Been a long day.
Huh?
Been a long day. I feel like dancing. Well, I can't walk, but I can't swim. Sun is calling my name again. And the lights long outside my home. Sometimes still feels good to be alone. Well, yes, I feel like dancing, even if it's not a thing I do. To have the space for thinking makes me love my time with you. Last night I woke up from a dream. On a mountain that I'd never seen. By a purple flower your face began to But I lost you as it started to snow. Well, yes, I feel like dancing, even if it's not a thing I do, to finally have the freedom to catch my breath with you. Hold on to me as if it was the last time. Burn every word into our hearts till the stars die out with every line. And we won't know where one ends and one begins to start. Hold on to me like I was the last beat of yours. Yes, I feel like dancing, if it's not a thing I do, to finally have the freedom to catch my breath with you. Well, yes, I feel like dancing, if it's not a thing I do, to have the space for thinking makes me love my time with you. All right, thank you.
Are you good to keep playing, or you want to take it out?
I'm totally okay with whatever.
All right.
I don't have to play again until tomorrow.
All right. I want to think of something really good to play for you guys. Exactly.
I was going to let that one go.
That's what I was thinking.
It was up there just,
Let's do September Leaves.
okay. Oh boy.
This next song is a song on a first song on a record that I made this last year. Well, actually, it was 2 years ago now. Time flies, you know. But it was a record I made when the caca hit the fan, you know, with all the pandemic stuff, and I would record like my part in my studio and then send it off to my buddy in California, and he would play piano and keyboards and stuff like that, and then send it back to me, and then I would send it down to my buddy in Albuquerque to play drums and stuff like that on it, and he would play and then send it back to me, and the whole record was made with basically nobody in the same room at the same time, which I guess is the new way of doing things. But anyway, this is the first track on that. It's called September Leaves. Pulling back the sheets, wondering where you are tonight. Rolling down these streets, I'm lonely as hell, but it's alright. They say a hurricane hit your town, but you got out alive. Where are you now? I'm holding on to the lifeline. You and I are September leaves in the last of the light. The fates won't give us much more time. In the gray light of a new day, I pulled you into the flood. I drew a line in the red clay, and then I drew the blood. Yeah, we all went our separate ways, off into the ethers. I asked you which one will it be. You said I'll have neither. You and I are September leaves in the last of the light. The fates won't give us much more time. You and I are September leaves in the last of the light. The fates won't give us much more time. Wayne Sutton.
So we went out to Terlingua. I called Bill up because I knew I wanted to make a record with him, and I was like, "Hey, where can we do this?" And he's like, "Well, meet me out in Terlingua. We're recording in the church," which was very exciting. And we'll just stay. You know, he had some property. He's like, "We'll just stay out on my land, and that doesn't cost anything." And we're like, "All right." So I got there, drove out there, and we recorded the first night till about 10. Packed up the car and started driving. And, after about 20 or 30 minutes, I didn't really know Bill that well. I thought I did. But I was like, maybe he's just taking me out somewhere to kill me. It was fucking we're nowhere. We were way out there. I was like, well, I'll just keep on going. But so we finally I didn't really think that, but we finally got somewhere and pulled out some beers, and he's got a house there now, but at the time there was no house, and we had a couple of chairs, and there was a big full moon, because that's the way it was planned, and it was beautiful. And we listened to that song, and I was like, oh, dude, that's so good. And Bill's like, well, I just want to play you this one song. I was like, well, now we got to listen to the record. So we did that, and then we listened to Willie, listened to some Bob Dylan, some Towns. That was the first night, right? Yeah. It was about 4 o'clock, and Bill's like, well, Wayne, I think we better go to bed. I was like, well, man, I don't want it to end.
I know.
But we have to. So we did, and we got up and we did it the next morning. It was about 1,000,000 degrees, and we went and jumped in the Rio Grande and rent stuff. Had a couple of beers about 10, 11 in the morning, then we started all over again. It was an epic, magnificent 4 days. Really good stuff.
What people need to understand is out in the desert, drinking water alone will not hydrate you. In fact, you can die with a gallon of water in your hand. But see, beer, on the other hand, actually gives you like the nutrition that you need in the baking sun. Of course, you need to fortify it with some water along the way as well. But it is true. The part of the story he didn't tell you was after a couple of days of doing this, we were starting to smell each other a little bit. And so we were going to drive down to the Rio Grande and take a bath in the river. And what we would like to do is we'd go down there and crack a couple beers and hop in the river and then sort of go across to the Mexican side and set our beers in the sand over on the Mexican side, you know, and then when we were done, we would, you know, go back across. And so we went down to Lajitas, Texas, and we went into this little store. It's like a little golf resort kind of thing. And we went into this little store, and Wayne was like, I'll go in and get us some soap. And so we went in there, and he goes and he gets, and all they have is like body wash, like Suave body wash or something, some god-awful scent, you know. And he was like, he comes out and he gets in the truck and he says, I thought this said $4.95, but it was $14.95 for this body wash.
But we smelled good after that.
We did. But what happened is we went down to the river and we were bathing in this body wash, and then this family pulls up and they all kind of come down and start getting undressed and getting in. It's like, you guys want some body wash? And they're like, yeah. So we pass it over to them, and they're over there splashing off, and all of us are just taking baths in the river. It was kind of a unique experience.
But we recorded this song, this next one here. It's called Take It or Leave It.
Perfect.
I like playing it here at the Black Sparrow Music Parlor because it's about a lot of my favorite writers. But, I think at some point, Shannon and I were cruising around the country listening to a lot of Bob Dylan and talking about Bukowski a lot. So when I saw this place, I was like, I get it. Well, he sat up on his mountain, started screaming gibberish about tennis and war and Alcoholics Anonymous. Smartest man on the planet can still run out of hope and find himself hanging from the end of a rope. And you can't take it or leave it. What did it matter in the end? If you run out of questions, nobody answers you again. And all the words you carry, well, they cut down to the bone. Sent you out the way you came in, well, they're frightened and alone. He ran out of room and packed away across the ocean. He swore all the whores of Paris loved him with devotion. But the craziest one of all was the one who stole his heart. And any fool could have seen that they were finished from the start. And you can't take it or leave it. What did it matter in the end? If you run out of questions, nobody answers you again. And all the words you carry, well, they cut down to the bone. Since you're out the way you came in, frightened and alone. All right, Bill. Well, the post office called and they said you're late again. So you mailed off some poetry explaining where you've been. You smiled and laughed and threw jabs at the people walking by. Drunken tears are falling from the tears in your eyes. You can't take it or leave it. What did it matter in the end? If you run out of questions, nobody answers you again. And all the words you carry, well, they cut down to the bone. Sent you out the way you came in, well, they're frightened and alone. Sent you out the way you came in, frightened and alone. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to play a song now that I know has gotten some radio play on Black Sparrow Radio. It's the best radio station in town.
That's all. There's always a disgruntled musician.
So yeah, sometimes when I'm, out in the wilds of the world, I'm like cruising along on some stretch of desert road, and I tap into my phone and listen to Dear Shabby and The Mind of Dale and various things on the radio, and I get lots of inspiration from that, lots of good advice, always leading me down the right path. Anyway, if you get a chance to listen to Black Sparrow Radio, I recommend it. Let's do record. So this next song I'm going to do, I tried my hardest to come up with a song that was going to make Wayne play as many chords as I possibly could. Because I use a thing called a capo here, which is also known as the cowboy crutch, which means that you can play the same sort of chord structure anywhere on the neck, and you can change the key just using this thing, moving it up and down the neck, the capo. But if you're not using a capo, then you have to actually use your hands to do it. So, here you go, Wayne.
My man.
Record, wreck in my brain. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what I do. Record, wreck in my brain. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what I do. Did I tangle with the wrong wolf this time? A lone wolf by design. Did I angle for my own demise in the wilderness of your eyes? Record, wreck in my brain. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what I do. Record, wreck in my brain. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what I do. I woke through the sirens across the tracks, lying on my back. the flashing lights above the wreckage of your bed, and I was left for dead. Record wrecking my brain. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what I do. Record wrecking my brain. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what I do to be with you, to be with you.
Yeah. Tell you, I almost know him. A lot closer than last night.
What's that?
A lot closer than last night.
Yeah.
Last night I was like, well, it's on. It's on. Tell me something to play. Something I'm not thinking. Oh, I don't know. Do you want to do? What time is it?
What about like Cecilia or something like that?
How about I Can't Sleep Through the Night?
Let's do that.
I want to do Cecilia.
Let's do I can't sleep through the night.
All right. Well, I hear that nervous ticking of the clock, relentless as night is long, and I wake up from the strangest dreams. Melodies in my head from some lost half-written song. Well, every now and then a moment just frozen on your lips, with a silence as deep as the earth, just you and that voice and the wilderness. I can't sleep through the night anymore. My brain just catches fire with the days that lie ahead and the days that came before. I can't sleep through the night anymore. So I run myself around in circles, as if I could ever catch the sun. But the beauty lies in infinite choices, with 12 roads that all lead back to one. I can't sleep through the night anymore. My brain just catches fire with the days that lie ahead and the days that came before. I can't sleep through the night anymore. So I close my eyes and try to slow my breathing, try to dislocate myself the best I can. The If I'm lucky, then my spirit heads out sailing, takes a measure of the world and comes crashing back in. But I can't sleep through the night anymore. My brain just catches fire with the days that lie ahead and the days that came before. I can't sleep through the night anymore. Thank you.
I guess we can do like a couple more songs. Do we have time for that? Is that cool? What time is it? 10:08. Geez, it's like way past my bedtime. What should I do, Wayne? I told you the last couple ones. You tell me.
I'm trying to think if there's something on our list.
What's that?
We've done all our list of songs, right? We haven't done Screen Door.
Let's do it.
Try doing it?
You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do a song. It's funny. I was hanging out with Shannon this afternoon, and this song came on, and she was like, he wrote this song about us. And I was like, who is that? Is that Adam Carroll? And she was like, yeah, he wrote this song about us. And I'm like, I don't remember that. But I guess he did, so I pretended like, yeah, he wrote that song about us. I remember that. She's like this line right here, he's talking about, and I'm like, I kind of don't remember that, but I don't remember a lot of things. But I'm not going to play that song for y'all. I'm going to play another song by Adam Carroll for y'all. It's one of my favorites, and I'll tell you why it's one of my favorites. Because I am a hopeless romantic, and I love a good love song, and particularly when they're as tender as this next one is, and I hope that I can somehow manage to get it across the way that my good buddy Adam Carroll gets it across. The other thing I love about this song is it's got historical context, and I played it for many years before I realized that it was actually written about the East Texas oil fields in the 1930s. And if you're a historian, which I am not, you'll hear the lines that sort of give that away. You help me with this one, Wayne? It's called Screen Door. Looking out the screen door through the smoke into your eyes, looking out the screen door through the smoke into your eyes. You're smiling through the screen door is worth 10,000 goodbyes. I'm cleaning up the table from the barbecue tonight. I'm cleaning up the table from the barbecue tonight. And I'm watching out the screen door where your face comes in the light. You said you loved the two-pusher 'cause he bought you a ring. You said you loved the two-pusher 'cause he bought you a ring. Well, I pledged my love 1,000 times to you, hiding behind the Coke bottle machine. Well, it's only wishful thinking, but I keep my fingers crossed. It's only wishful thinking, but I keep my fingers crossed while you take the old man's order from a checkered tablecloth. Well, you asked me what have I got, baby, when I get back home. You asked me what have I got, baby, when I get back home. Well, I got a trash sack full of rib bones. I got a pocket full of songs, and they're all for you. You're waiting for the two-pusher. I'm turning out the lights. You're waiting for the two-pusher. I'm turning out the lights. Well, he's got Kilgore on his collar. You know what that means. He's got a lipstick stain tonight. But me, I got grease from washing dishes. You got a name tag on your chest. I got grease from washing dishes. You got a name tag on your chest. And I'm walking out the screen door, and the smoke is all that's time for one more song, Wayne. What
Yeah.
you want to?
Well, you want to do one more? You want to do a Key to My Heart? Or you want to do something?
do it? Let's do it.
Let's do that.
Whatever you want to do. You tell me.
Well, I could do something sad, or I could do something rocking, or we could do something together. I think we should let the people vote.
We could do something sad, we could do something rocking, or we could do something together. Sad. Okay, the boss says. Well, okay, we'll do 2 or 3 more then. Let me tune this guitar.
That's a good idea. I'm going to try that myself.
What you gonna do?
St. Louis.
Great.
We're going to start with someone's tune. Can't possibly tune it to be flat. The West Texas wind creeps up like a killer with its silent electricity. Sometimes it screams like the ghost of that old girl who died with nothing left but her virginity. They laid her out in a corner so she could dream forever about how deeply you can fall into a kiss. If they played loneliness on a violin, it came from the back room, I think it'd probably sound something like this. Somebody hold me. Somebody hold me. Well, I'm crawling, and I'm falling off St. Louis's balcony. And winter comes down, hard as betrayal and cold as a woman's revenge. Strange nights make for stranger companions. The words taste rehearsed and thin. He pushed his mama by in a wheelchair, and his wife came behind with a disgusted stare that'll probably follow him down to the stone. There's desire so raw you can read it, burning people's eyes, a feeling crying deep inside their bones. Somebody hold me. Somebody hold me, 'cause I'm crawling. And I'm falling off St. Louis's balcony. I'll get straps around you, swollen and violent and hotter than the first days of love. Before you realize how long things can keep going wrong, after you think that you've already had enough. They leaned across the church wall on a lookout for salvation, and maybe I was standing in the way. There's nothing worse than a last chance shot down in Jackson Square for $13 and some change. Somebody hold me. Somebody hold me, 'cause I'm crawling, and I'm falling off St. Louis's balcony. Beautiful guitar solo, Bill. That was perfect.
Let's do Give Back to Key to My Heart. What do you say?
I'll say yes.
Let's put the rockin' and us together. So I've been doing this cover song. It's a Doug Somm song. I've been doing it in my set for a little while. And we were going to do this corporate party back a couple of months ago, and we were like, we need a bunch of covers. And I was like, do you know Give Back the Key to My Heart? And Wayne was like, yeah, of course. I used to do it in my band. And I was like,
I said it like that because I know like 3 cover songs. That's one of them.
we just so happened to play the same cover songs.
Good thinking.
Let's do a cover song, Wayne. What do you say?
I say yes.
It's one of my favorite. And actually, the bummer is that Wayne takes the second verse of this song, and that's my favorite verse of any song ever. But I'm glad because I get to sit back and listen to Wayne sing my favorite verse.
You can have it.
You ready?
Yes.
Take my picture off the wall. It don't matter to me at all. You said I was headed for a fall, but you wanted me to crawl. Give back my TV. It don't mean that much to me. While you're giving back my things, give me back the key to my heart. Give back the key to my heart. Give back the key to my heart. And let my love flow like a river straight into your heart, dear.
Well, you said I was the one to blame for the wrong that's been done. But you got a friend in cocaine, and to me he is to blame. He has drained life from your face. He has taken my place while you're alone in San Antone. Give me back the key to my heart. Give back the key to my heart. Give back the key to my heart. And let my love flow like a river straight into your heart, dear. Hey, thank y'all so much. This was like one of my favorite nights ever.
All right. Thank you, Evan. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Court, Shannon, everybody. All of y'all for showing up. My cousins are here. Frank is here. You guys are here. All right. Thanks, everybody.